Viewmasters, it's the podcast that we do. Viewmasters, talk about movies that we view. Viewmasters, my friend Eric and me, Joe. Viewmasters, hey, let's start the show.
Hello, and welcome to the Viewmasters, episode 231, D.O.A. My name is Eric.
My name is Joe, J-O-E.
I'm now jealous that you have a name that you can do that with.
Jed on E-Rival. I took it too far. I ruined it.
I think you made it better.
Agree to disagree, sir.
Alrighty.
Yes, D.O.A.
Yeah.
The replacement movie.
Yeah, it's fine. It was just a minor irritation that we had to switch it up very last minute. But it's all gonna work out.
Yeah.
Well, it's a movie we can talk about.
Yeah, no, I think so. I took notes.
As did I.
Excellent.
There is just one question I have to ask you, though.
Okay.
You don't like it in the belly, do you?
Can't say as I do.
You're soft in the belly, aren't you?
I am soft in the belly.
Guess what? So am I.
Oh, that's nice.
That's why we're going to rename the podcast the Soft Belly Brothers.
Oh, man, the SBBs. SBB cast. Yikes.
D.O.A.
D.O.A. So when we announced this change of plans last week,
yes,
you mentioned that you had seen this movie already.
I have.
Tell me more about that.
I can also tell you that having watched it now, for the show, I didn't remember a goddamn thing about it. Other than the basic premise, I didn't remember a thing about this movie, but I do remember seeing it back in 1988.
Wow.
So I would have been 10 years old or so.
All right.
So there was a remake of this movie that came out in 1988.
I thought there was.
With Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan. And I remember that being like a big deal for some reason. And while that movie was out, one of the cable channels like USA probably, or TBS, aired it one day, like in the summer, at noon.
Oh, the original version?
Yep.
Gotcha.
And so I watched it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I feel like be shocked now if I turned on just like TNT or USA or something and saw a black and white movie being played in the middle of the day or at any time of day, honestly. That feels like a relic of a bygone era.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but I had a TV in my bedroom as a child, and it was a black and white television.
Nice.
That was, still within the decade of having been made.
Yeah.
So black and white was still a thing when we were kids.
Yeah, I guess I don't think of it other than I used to watch a lot of Nick at Night, so
sure.
So I got used to black and white shows that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I don't think of it as being like a thing that was quote unquote contemporary into the 80s.
I mean, like modern at the time movies and shows, unless they were trying something artistic, I guess.
Right.
Weren't really doing it, but, it's just, like I said, we had the big TV in the living room, and then, other TVs in the house were smaller and were black and white.
Nice.
And so, and I think even my mom had a TV at her shop that was in black and white up until like early 90s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She also had a rotary phone too, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love rotary phones.
She had to program it so she could get calls at the house for like people who wanted appointments.
Yeah.
Which was a pain in the ass to do because she had to dial like 4 digits and then the home phone number and then the business phone number, which when it's rotating all the way from 0, takes a while.
Yeah. Jeez.
But yeah, it's just I remember watching a lot of old movies when I was a kid.
That's really cool.
Part of it was just because I was fairly sickly, and so I just remember spending a lot of time in bed or on the couch just watching whatever was on.
All right.
Like I remember watching The Birdman of Alcatraz, and when I was like 6 or 7.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I have seen D.O.A. and remember none of it.
Well, I will confess something as well.
Oh?
I had also seen D.O.A.
What?
and remembered nothing at all other than the basic premise.
Yeah.
So I wanted to watch it again, basically.
Okay. What's your story?
I was in college and watching a lot of film noir.
Okay.
And D.O.A. was among them. So
okay.
Yeah, nothing super exciting. I was pretty depressed at the time. I don't know if that adds flavor to the story.
Maybe a little.
Okay. Oh, dames, man.
Yeah, dames. Where's our slide whistle?
The slide whistle was literally the first note I took. What the fuck? Tonally, what is this movie?
So, the first time that happens, like, I had to rewind it.
Yeah.
Because at first I thought, because it's happening, like, while there's, like, a bunch of partying going on.
Yeah.
And I thought, maybe that's, like, some sort of background thing. But it is not.
Yeah, definitely not.
It is part of the soundtrack. And it is for a few minutes persistent.
There's a lot of ladies walking by.
Sure.
And obviously, every time a lady walks by, you're going to get the slide whistle. Which makes perfect sense.
Yep.
It's like that sequence in Wayne's World when Garth just goes swing over and over again for like 30 seconds as women walk by.
Yeah, except with Wayne's World, that fits the tone and the story.
That's true.
Whereas everything that follows this brief scene of just our hero question mark
right
looking at women and just getting a slide whistle drop,
Well, I think we all know what his slide whistle represents when he sees those ladies walking by.
Oh, yeah. It's the 1940s equivalent of swing.
Exactly. Yeah. They can't show an erection. So, they worked with what they could to stay within code standards.
Oh, man. I was dumbfounded.
Yeah. There are quite a few things in the movie that sort of puzzled me.
It's a puzzling movie.
A little bit.
It is. So the basic plot premise of the movie is this man discovers that he's been poisoned and is going to die, and he is on the search for his killer.
Right.
Simple enough.
Yeah.
This is one of the ones that I watched twice.
Okay.
And there's a lot of twists, and it is very convoluted.
It is very convoluted.
And even for as simple as the motive and the outcome are, there are just a lot of turns that are kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, I guess, on the way to getting to what the motive was for and the identity of the killer. And not all of it makes super clear sense to me. I only watched it once. I kind of wish I'd watched it twice. Cause yeah, I think it may have made it easier to recognize people. I think was sort of my big problem is there's a lot of dudes who all look similar in this movie.
There's that for sure. A lot of women who also look very similar.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a 40s thing. I mean, following the threads, watching it a second time certainly did not help me.
Okay.
I mean, I get it and I understand it, but it's just it's like tracking Jeremy Bearimy.
Yeah. Aw. Yeah. I think that I haven't seen a ton of noir films, but I do think that like overly complicated plots are sort of a standard feature. So in that respect, this is perfect.
I think though, even with that, simpler is always better.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. I will say that there's one aspect that confused the hell out of me the first time that completely cleared up for me on the second time. I must have just missed, this minor thing that happened.
Okay.
So our hero, question mark,
right,
Frank Bigelow, he is poisoned. He's trying to find his killers. He's investigating. He eventually winds up in a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
And he pulls out a gun to return fire. And that first time I was like, where the fuck did he get that gun? and it's in my notes, where did he get the gun? And it's literally the scene before where we see where he gets his gun.
Right.
And I was pissed at myself. Because I'm an idiot.
See, I almost expected that, it wasn't actually, going to be a real gun. It would just be, a cigarette lighter that she happened to have that looks like a gun that she uses to intimidate people.
Sure.
Like, that would have made me laugh.
Yeah. I almost think that would have been better.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
It would have fit with the slide whistles, that's for sure. I spent the whole movie just trying to justify how the slide whistles fit in.
They don't.
They really don't.
It is jarring. Because the rest of this movie is just so tense and just serious that part of it is just so out of place.
It's baffling.
And I mean, it's the plot is building at that point, and we don't know exactly. Like I said, like the premise of the movie is just right there.
Yeah.
Especially because the prologue of sort of the opening shot, is him walking into a police station and saying that he's been murdered, and it's just all a flashback recounting how he got there. But to me anyway, everything that's been built up is just that, anybody could be the guy or the person who, poisoned him.
Right.
Because he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
And he's just taking an impromptu vacation, and he's in a hotel full of businessmen who are out getting drunk and partying. And there's a lot of women around, and, I think all that would have been fine, but then we get that fucking slide whistle.
Yeah, it's just strange.
Yep. And I mean, it's the strangest thing in this movie, but
right.
It's not the only thing that's strange in this movie.
So I am glad that you've mentioned that Frank Bigelow is kind of a jerk. Because I did take some notes about that.
All right.
Like, this is ostensibly a movie about a guy who goes on vacation so that he can cheat on his girlfriend.
Yeah, essentially.
And she, like, gives him permission, I guess, to do it. But then, yeah, he gets poisoned, is a jerk to everyone who tells him that he's been poisoned. And then just proceeds to barge into places, manhandle people.
Yep.
He's just a random guy. He's not a private detective. He's not a cop. He's just like this guy.
He's an accountant.
He's an accountant, exactly.
And a notary public. Yeah.
Or he might be a notary Republican, too. Who knows?
He's probably a Republican.
It would justify or at least explain a lot of his behavior throughout the movie.
Yeah. Like the entire time, almost every scene that he has with his girlfriend, I just keep thinking to myself, you could do better.
She could do better?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
And he seems to have some sway over a couple of other women throughout the movie, and it's the same thing. Like, they could all do better than this dude.
Yeah.
This schlubby accountant.
Yeah, I mean, no offense, is it Edmund O'Brien?
Yes.
That plays Frank Bigelow. No offense to Edmund O'Brien. But yeah, he's kind of schlubby.
Yeah. I mean, he is just a dude, like you said. Just average as hell. One might say basic.
You might. And I mean, I guess part of that is the appeal of the movie too, is that he is just an accountant, just kind of average schlub, and he's sort of thrust into this strange situation and has to figure out how he ended up there.
Right.
So yeah, I can see it, but like just the way that everyone just accepts his behavior was somewhat bewildering to me.
Right? Yeah. And like the few people that kind of call him out on it, they're just like, very quickly they're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if he would have been remotely likable, then I think this movie would have turned out far better than it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing that he's a jerk after he's been poisoned.
Right.
But you gotta do the legwork up front before that happens.
Right. Yeah.
To establish a reason that we should care about this guy, and the movie really doesn't do much of that, other than we know he's about to be poisoned.
Right.
Let's find out what happens. This movie does a thing that Jenny absolutely hates, and that I have come to hate as a result. It starts with the exciting part, and then flashes back. So it's like when a TV show opens with a big shootout and an explosion, and then after the credits, it's 24 hours earlier.
Yeah.
Like, here's all the boring stuff that leads up to that.
Yeah.
This movie is entirely the boring stuff until like the last 10 minutes.
I mean, there's a couple of shootouts and some chases.
That's true.
But,
all right.
No, I do agree with you. It's,
there are also a lot of really intense shots of Frank Bigelow writing his signature.
Yeah. But no, I the flashback thing is, it's definitely one of the worst tropes in movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
The absolute worst being, it was all a dream.
Right.
Because, the flashback thing is, and especially in TV shows, serial TV shows when they do it,
mm-hmm.
because you already know they're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
So what the fuck's the point? And here we already know that he's going to die. So, similar?
Yeah.
I think it works a little bit here better than it does in other things. But, just because it is so, so fundamental to the story.
Yeah.
But it's not great.
Yeah, I mean, the movie is built around the very first scene, basically. Like they had the idea, oh, what if this guy walks into the police station and says, I'd like to report a murder, and then they ask who it was, and he says, in my own. And then they worked from there. It's like how Julia Schwartz used to come up with the covers for Silver Age DC Comics, and then they'd have to build a story around that cover to make it fit somehow.
Right.
Like the movie it's all the hook. The rest of it is just like, how do we get to the hook, basically.
Yeah. I mean, we do have to, I think, step aside and realize that we are seeing this, 70 years later.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so, who knows? Maybe this was one of the first times that was ever done.
Yeah. It's entertaining. I don't mean to make it sound like I didn't enjoy the movie, because I did really enjoy watching it.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun movie. It definitely has its problems. But I also enjoyed it. Once I got over the slide whistle.
Right.
And just, the most sympathetic character in the movie is, Paula, the girlfriend,
mm-hmm.
who we see very little of, and she is entirely just... Her character is... She's the girlfriend.
Right. Yeah. Man, I feel bad for her.
Yeah.
Like, for a lot of reasons.
Oh, for sure. One, she could do better.
Yeah.
And despite that, she is absolutely in love with this man, and he's going to die and does not tell her.
Right. Yeah, he is terrible.
Yeah, he really is. And spoiler, it all comes down to he notarized a piece of paper.
Right. A bill of sale.
Yep.
I didn't know that you had to notarize receipts.
Different time, I guess.
I guess. I've never had a receipt notarized at Target.
You should try.
Maybe I will. Yeah. So yeah. It comes down to he notarized the receipt for the sale. It was the sale of the poison, right?
No, it was a metal.
Wow, I missed that. Okay.
It was a metal called iridium.
Okay.
Which I guess can be used in radioactive substances or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't do any research into it. But it had been stolen, and basically, the seller was selling stolen goods, but unbeknownst to him.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and it all hinged on this bill of sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the seller was that the guy who contacted him? Who had also been poisoned, I think? He
was...
Oh, right, he was murdered, but he wasn't poisoned.
Right, he was thrown off the balcony. And it honestly didn't even have anything to do with that.
Right. I just remembered, because his wife did that, right?
Yeah.
Because he was cheating on her.
Uh-huh, but she was cheating on him. With the person who murdered Frank.
And that person was the guy's partner, like his business partner, right?
Yes.
Okay. Damn. Okay.
Yep.
We got there.
Yeah.
Because I saw that guy, like, when they do the big reveal of who it was. I saw that guy and I was like, he looks familiar. I'm pretty sure that's the other guy's partner, but I'm not 100% sure.
Nope, that is indeed who he was.
Okay.
And then there's an entire subplot with a gangster who was the uncle of the guy who bought the stuff from the guy who was murdered.
Okay. So there's George Reynolds. Is that is that the guy who contacts him?
No, Phillips.
No. Phillips.
Phillips is the guy that contacts Frank.
Okay. George Reynolds is the person who bought the iridium.
Yes. And
George Reynolds is also another name that I don't remember right now.
Raymond Rakubian.
There it is.
Whose uncle is Magic. Or something like that.
Magic?
Something like that, yeah.
Alright. Magic Johnson?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes, it was Magic Johnson. He is immortal, and that is why he was not affected by HIV.
Oh my god. Moving on. Did you watch this movie with subtitles?
I did.
I tried to.
Okay.
But when I turned the subtitles on, they were ahead of the dialogue.
Oh, wow.
So I turned them off.
Okay, yeah, that would be irritating.
It was real weird.
On which platform did you wind up watching this on?
I watched it on Prime.
Okay. I watched it on Canopy, actually.
Okay.
So, yeah, they were perfectly in sync.
Gotcha. Well, next time I watch it, it'll be on Canopy.
Okay, there you go. What was I going to say? I don't know.
We were talking about Magic
Magic Johnson.
Jacobian.
Yeah, Rakubian.
Rakubian, sorry.
Yeah.
Dr. Jacoby.
Yeah, there's that whole gangster subplot, and then his psychopathic goon Chester.
Yes, I my note for Chester is just, holy shit, this guy. Because, wow.
It is, there's some scenery being chewed.
There absolutely is. That guy is amazing. He has possibly the craziest eyes I've ever seen. Period.
He was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it was almost much like the slide whistle, just like, I don't understand how this fits into this movie.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, he's part of the gangster subplot that ultimately didn't really amount to anything other than putting Frank in more danger.
Right. And I kept thinking through that whole, bit of business is, why doesn't he just tell them that he's going to be dead anyway?
That's a good point. That is actually a really good point. I mean, they probably wouldn't have believed him.
Right, I
but
guess.
Still, that's, he could have at least tried it.
Right? Like, he tells nobody that he is dying.
Right.
Except for the cops at the beginning.
Right. You mean the end?
Yes. Is this Memento?
It is Memento, yes. John G. poisoned him.
So we have gone this whole time and not once mentioned the jazz club.
Oh, Jesus. You talking about the fisherman?
Yep.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Get it?
The scene of the crime. Oh man, these jive dames are. Yeah, just. Oh my god. I honestly don't even know where there's problematic stuff all over the place in The Fisherman. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. So I did read up a little bit, and apparently it's one of the very first portrayals of beatnik culture on film.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So we get proto hippies.
Are they beatniks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's especially one dude that is absolutely a beatnik. Like, he's got the beret and the goatee and everything.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah. Which was not a common look in 1949.
Right.
Yeah, they're all strung out on the music, man.
Yeah. There are a lot of really intense shots of the musicians.
Yep.
And they go on for a long time.
Yep. It's it's annoying.
Yeah. I think those are the only characters of color in the movie as well.
Yes. Well, why would there be any others?
Ouch. It was 1949, that's fair.
Exactly. And I think I read that the music that we hear isn't even being played by those gentlemen.
I was going to say it didn't line up with
what they
were doing.
I don't know what in the hell that music was. It was definitely not any jazz I'd ever heard.
No, it was jive. And they all looked insane.
Not nearly as insane as the people in the crowd, though.
No, definitely not.
Just, it did make me anxious, though, because I do not like crowds, and I do not like live music, and it just brought back a lot of memories of why I don't.
Well, and none of those people were wearing masks either, so that was really...
Oh, that's true.
Like, just
there was no social distancing happening.
No.
Because this is all we know now.
It's reality. Oh man, yeah. So like, there's all this stuff with the businessmen who are staying at the hotel, and like the one guy's, I think that's his wife.
Yes.
Who's just like hanging all over Frank.
Yep.
And her husband just like staring daggers at him.
Right.
Like it feels like they were trying to set that up as a red herring.
Yeah.
And it didn't really work. It just came across as strange.
Yeah, pretty much. It also doesn't work because almost immediately we see the guy who does poison him.
Right. Well, yeah. Not too long after that.
Yeah, it's clearly not the husband.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the weird thing where he talks up the girl at the bar, and then just, I guess that's supposed to be the point of redemption for the character, is that he ultimately decides not to cheat on his girlfriend with this woman.
I guess? I don't know. Yeah, like if that is the point, I guess. Because yeah, otherwise I was gonna say, what's the point other than to show like, is Frank this big Lothario,
right?
Whose prowess with women we should be impressed by?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I guess.
But again, it just goes back to, yeah, he's so unlikable. All these women could do so much better.
Yeah. It's probably, I'm glad he's dead. I'll just say it.
Yeah. No big loss.
He deserved it.
Yep. I feel bad for Paula, but yeah, he's not a great dude.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't die for any of the reasons that he deserved it for, but in the end, he deserved it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. No,
I was just gonna say one thing that occurred to me after he gets his diagnosis. And then there are a lot of long sequences of him just running down the street.
Yeah.
But then at the end of one of those, and he makes the decision to try and find out why he was poisoned. He gets on a flight from San Francisco to Los Angeles.
Yep.
And the thought occurred to me that if you were poisoned, and you had, possibly a day or so left to live, would you spend part of that day flying from San Francisco to Los Angeles? Couldn't he have just made a phone call?
Yeah, I guess a lot of that could be handled by phone calls. But it wouldn't have made for a very exciting movie.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Also, I don't know, how long a flight from San Francisco to LA is.
I looked it up.
Okay.
So San Francisco to LA is a 6-hour and 16-minute drive.
Okay.
And currently it's a 90-minute flight. So
all right.
I don't know if flight times have changed at all between 1949 and now, but it's a good hour and a half at least.
Okay.
Of the limited time that he has spent left sitting on a plane.
I mean, it's not that long of a flight, I guess.
And you're right. Ultimately, it's not that long. But
also, I'm not dying, so...
Yeah. Right.
So I'm a little more open to the possibility of making that trip.
Yeah. I mean, he could have just gone home and been with the girlfriend that he allegedly loves
Sure.
for the remainder of his time.
Well, I think it's the fault of the second Doctor for just flat out saying that he's been murdered.
That's true. Yeah, that doctor has real good bedside manner.
I did find it wondrous that apparently in that day and age you could just walk into a doctor's office and just get a checkup.
Yeah, no, they're just hanging out.
Yeah. I mean, I think I mentioned in the last episode that it's been a while since I've seen any kind of medical personnel.
Right.
And part of that is because, you try to make an appointment and it's like, yeah, we can see you in like 2 months.
Yeah.
Where, Frank Bigelow just casually strolls into the first doctor's office and then furiously gets a second opinion from a second doctor down the street.
Yeah, at that point, he's just storming into places.
That is really when he begins his barging phase.
Right. Barging and manhandling.
Yep.
The
Which
Frank
I think
Bigelow
is
story.
One of the 7 stages of grief.
Definitely. Yeah. I think it's 5, not 7.
Well, 7 now with barging and manhandling.
That's true. All right. So yeah, it's denial, anger, barging, manhandling, bargaining. Or wait, no, bargaining goes before barging and manhandling. Because when the bargaining doesn't work, that's when you start trying to strong arm your way into things. And then depression and acceptance.
Yeah.
Dab Jumba.
I think we've revolutionized mental health here.
I think you're right. I'm gonna get published in a journal tomorrow.
Sweet. So yeah, I mean, we have definitely ragged on this movie a lot, but it's also fairly enjoyable.
It is. It's really fun. Yeah, there's definitely worse ways that you could spend 90 minutes because it's also a relatively short movie.
Yeah, which I was thankful for.
Yeah, honestly, that was something I was looking for when I picked The Replacements.
So yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's in the public domain. It's everywhere. Why not watch it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be interested to see the remake, just to see like how faithful it is to the original and if they change stuff in it.
I think they, it's pretty much just the basic premise and everything else is different.
Gotcha.
But I don't know if I've ever actually seen the remake.
Ooh, I'll put that in my back pocket as a future pick.
All right. I mean, I used to like Dennis Quaid.
Yeah. Which one is Dennis Quaid?
He's the one who now supports Trump.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, which one was Dennis Quaid?
Inner Space,
Not Randy Quaid.
Not Randy Quaid.
Okay. Randy Quaid is, okay. I got you.
Randy Quaid is National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
Psychotic.
I did not know that about Dennis Quaid.
Oh, yeah. He recently did like an ad for him or something.
Wow. I mean, he's a middle-aged white man, so I guess I can give it to him.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
His current wife is also like 22 years old.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Just like Randy Quaid. Right? Doesn't he have like a super young girlfriend? I don't know.
I think she's definitely younger than him, but not, it's still creepy, but not in like almost pedophile creepy.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, point to Randy Quaid there.
Yep.
Oh boy, D.O.A.
Yep.
I loved the last shot is just them stamping D.O.A. onto the police report. Like, how should we file it? Better make it dead on arrival. Stamp D.O.A. I mean, they had to say it. They had to get it in there at some point.
Gotta have the titular line.
Exactly. And they saved it for the perfect moment for it, the very end.
It was, spoiler, he dies.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Anything bringing you joy this past week?
Big Brother. I have been so I dabble in toy customization.
Sure.
And I've been making progress on a couple of those. I go in sort of fits and starts with it, and I've been on a little bit of a customizing kick for the past couple weeks. I've got a Mento figure from the Doom Patrol who is nearing completion.
Nice.
I was actually painting him before we chatted, and I've been able to smell the paint the whole time. So I'm
so you're high.
I'm a little high right now.
Nice.
But then I've got a bunch that I started and then got to various stages of completion, and so now I'm just like trying to go through and the ones that are closest to being done, if they don't have a ton of sculpting or whatever that needs to be done, I'm trying to accomplish things basically. So
that's awesome.
So it feels like I'm doing something with my time.
Sure. I hope you post pictures of these.
I definitely will. Yeah, the Mento figure is real close, like I said, to being done. So he'll be probably the first one that you see.
Nice. Got the weird helmet and everything.
Yeah. So it's the there's like the hyper complicated George Perez Mento costume, and then there's the simpler like black jumpsuit, purple helmet and gloves. I did the latter version just because it'd be easier.
Sure.
But the helmet was actually the thing that was tripping me up, was figuring out how to do it, because I tried sculpting it normally, and it's just like, because I do it on superpower scale, and it was just too small, and my fingers are too fat to properly get it to look right and like with straight lines and stuff. I actually figured out a way. This is probably super boring for the listeners, but I don't care. Fuck you, it's my podcast. Figured out a way to use a comic board and just like cut strips of it and then wrap those around his head, because it's sort of like a big headband basically that's part of the helmet. So I was able to make it using like just strips of comic board that I glued onto his head. It actually came out looking really cool. I'll send you I have a process picture of what it looked like. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Nice. What base did you use?
I used a Green Lantern figure with a Flash head, and then I actually cut the hands off of the Green Lantern figure and put Aquaman hands on, because he's got the gloves with the cuffs.
Right.
So it's less obvious that it was Green Lantern initially, because the arms are a little different.
Nice.
Yeah.
And these are all superpowers?
These are all superpowers, yes. That's my preferred toy line.
Sweet. Isn't that a little pricey at times?
A little bit. I've had the base figures that I'm working from for a while, so like I always buy just like beat up cheap figures to work from. I wouldn't want to destroy a pristine condition figure with my crappy painting skills.
Yeah, I get that.
What's bringing you joy this week?
I got some surprise mail the other day. That was nice.
Really? Excuse me.
Yeah.
I choked on my water. That's such a surprise.
Yeah, my friend Joe G sent me some blank comic covers and some Lego figurines.
Oh, that was nice of him.
Yeah, it brought a smile to my face.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
But otherwise, I've got a taste for terrible fucking movies. And I watched one last week that was so awful that I can't possibly recommend it to anyone, but also I can't not recommend it.
I'm scared.
It is called Veronica.
Okay.
It is a movie directed by Glenn Danzig.
Okay.
Of Mother fame.
Of course. The Darren Aronofsky movie.
Yes. It's based on his line of comics, published by Verotic Comics.
Okay.
It's an anthology horror movie, and he wrote and directed it, and it is the fucking worst.
Oh, wow.
But I was cackling at it. Like, I had heard that it was bad, and I did not expect it to be as bad as it was. It is, like, room level bad.
Wow.
I was almost going to say the only negative thing I can say.
I was going to say, I feel like everything you've said so far has been negative.
There's 3 stories in it, and they're all, like, hooked together by, like, a host segment.
Okay.
And it's Glenn Danzig, so he's got the libido of a 13-year-old boy from 1992. And so it's basically everything that, a stoner metalhead 13-year-old kid from the early 90s would find to be, awesome and cool. So there's just a lot of, naked chicks and, violence, and it's so stupid. But the first segment has, again, fucking awful. But there's an energy and a charm to it that I loved it so much. Whereas the other 2 segments were just so boring. But it was still just amazing to watch just the brazen, overconfident incompetence.
Oh man, that sounds like an experience. Is really the only thing I can think of.
It definitely is. It is definitely something that I had wished I had seen drunk with other people.
Yeah.
Because alone it was a slog, but also it was amazing. And just knowing also what a blowhard Danzig is.
Yeah.
Just you love to see it,
Well, that's excellent.
So I guess I should pick another movie.
Yeah, what do you got for us?
Well, this one is allegedly on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
So, hopefully it will remain there for the next week or so. As we are recording, it is now officially October.
Yes. Spooky time.
Spooky time indeed. And while we are ahead, and this episode will air like the 1st of November or something like that. It's still close enough to Halloween that I would like to watch a potentially spooky movie.
All right.
And it's one I have never actually seen. Who knows? You may veto, and then this may just screw me. But
Okay.
I would like to watch the Bill Paxton, Matthew McConaughey thriller, Frailty.
Okay. I will absolutely watch Frailty.
Okay. All right.
So Frailty is another D.O.A. situation for me.
You have seen it.
I have seen it. I remember nothing about it.
All right. Excellent.
So I will absolutely watch it.
Alrighty then. So yeah, next week, Frailty. It's on Amazon Prime, perhaps.
Hurry! Is that one in the public domain too?
I think they try to keep a tighter leash on that kind of stuff nowadays.
Okay. All right, Frailty.
Yep. All right.
We will talk about that next week.
Hopefully.
All right, see you then.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to The Viewmasters. You can subscribe to the show directly at view.guttertrash.net or at iTunes and leave us a review. Visit view.guttertrash.net for email information and links to Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you next time on The Viewmasters.